Hello, today is the 18th of January 2008 and I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 903 for Israel 24/6 TV. Welcome to this Friday afternoon recap of the military response of the sovereign state of Israel to terrorism this week. On January 15, 2007, Israel Defense Forces, including infantry and the Armored Corps, assisted by the Israel Air Force, commenced a military operation in the northern Gaza Strip. The military's stated purpose for that operation was to distance terrorist organizations from Israel's security fence and to prevent continued Qassam rocket and mortar shell launchings into the sovereign state of Israel. During that military operation, more than 15 armed hostile combatants were hit. During that operation, the Israel Air Force carried out 2 attacks against squads of Arab terrorist units responsible for launching those mortars and Qassams. In conjunction with the initial air response, an additional aerial attack was carried out against hostile combatants in a moving vehicle. The IDF spokesperson has reported that in both instances those targeted were hit, and also on the 15th of January, armed terrorist combatants launched a Qassam rocket in afternoon hours. This rocket hit the city of Ashkelon and a road was damaged. Also that afternoon, more than 8 Qassam rockets hit the city of Sderot. 5 Israeli citizens were lightly wounded, and in addition to the Qassams, approximately 25 mortar shells were launched throughout the day. The IDF also carried out an aerial attack against a rocket launching squad in the northern Gaza Strip after they fired rockets into Israel. And in the northwestern Negev, a young Ecuadorian citizen was shot and murdered by an Arab sniper near Israel's security fence on the morning of the 15th of January. Mr. Carlos Andres Chavez was shot in the back as he worked alongside other volunteers in the fields of Kibbutz Ain HaShlosha. The IDF spokesperson disclosed this information about the civilian population in that portion of the Negev, and I quote, "The majority of the residents in the northwestern Negev make their living from the surrounding farmland. There are approximately 30,000 residents who are constantly exposed to the terrorist threat emanating from the area near the security fence, which includes hostile rifle fire and the launching of rockets and mortar shells by terrorist organizations. The IDF conducts periodic security assessments in coordination with the residents of regional communities surrounding Gaza in order to determine necessary security procedures. These assessments will be examined in light of the incident. IDF representatives contacted the volunteer coordinators at the National Kibbutz Movement and offered them assistance. The IDF also informed the Ecuadorian military attaché in Israel, as well as the Israeli military attaché in Chile, who also has responsibility for Ecuador. The IDF would like to offer condolences to the bereaved family and to offer any assistance that may be necessary," end quote. And on January the 16th, 2008, the IDF spokesperson made the official announcement concerning the death of the head of the Islamic Jihad operating out of Samaria. Mr. Walid Anis Yosef Abid Yalid, age 46, was killed during an arrest operation in Kabatya. Kabatya is just south of Jenin. Mr. Abid Yalid was killed during exchanges of fire that erupted after IDF deployed to make an arrest arrived at the house where Mr. Abid Yalid was staying. An M16 assault rifle with a telescopic lens was later discovered on his body. The IDF spokesperson had this official comment about Mr. Walid Yalid, and I quote, "Walid Anis Yosef Abid Yalid, a 46-year-old Islamic Jihad terror operative, has been involved in intensive terrorist activity in the Samaria region since the 1980s. From 2004, he was a central figure in the Islamic Jihad, which attempted to execute numerous terrorist attacks within Israel. Walid was directly responsible for several murderous suicide bombings, amongst them the planning of the April 2006 suicide bombing in Tel Aviv, in which 11 civilians were killed and dozens injured. Walid Abid planned numerous other suicide attacks. Among them, he planned the March 2006 attempted suicide bombing on Route 1. Café New Hadeh, an Islamic Jihad suicide bomber, traveled to his target on Route 1 with a bag containing explosives that was manufactured by the terrorist organization controlled by Walid Abid. The attack was successfully intercepted at the last minute due to the high alert of security forces and the early warning provided by the Israel Security Agency. In November 2006, another suicide bombing organized by the organization was foiled in Israeli territory when the bomber was arrested and the explosives handed over. Walid Abid, as the head of the Islamic Jihad organization in Jenin, was the brains and central planner of the attempted suicide attack in February 2007, when a suicide bomber from Tabatya attempted to detonate a bag full of explosives on a bus in Tel Aviv, but failed due to a technical problem. End quote. And during that same arrest procedure, an additional Islamic Jihad terror operative, Mr. Ibrahim Fuad Ibrahim Abu Rov, was taken into custody. And on January 17th, the official update from the IDF spokesperson stated that due to the substantial increase in Qassam rocket fire from Gaza targeting Sderot and Israeli communities, that the IDF Homefront Command began yesterday to provide reinforcement soldiers in Sderot. Those reinforcements include approximately 100 officers and soldiers that were assigned to accompany civilian children to school and kindergarten. Furthermore, vehicles were patrolling the city while soldiers were positioned at bus stations and on rides that deliver students to school. In addition, the Homefront Command reinforced the Urban Assistance Center 106 in Sderot. The posture of the sovereign state of Israel to these renewed attacks by Arab terrorists is this, and I quote, "The IDF will continue to assist the residents of Sderot and the residents of communities surrounding the Gaza Strip." End quote. And also on yesterday, the 17th of January, censure was lifted on an official document for the Israel Defense Force report concerning an extensive arrest operation in December 2007 in the Bethlehem region. I will have a special edition of Fact Without Commentary concerning that document. Please look for it later on I-24/6 TV. And I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 903 for Israel 24/6 TV. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.